Do you identify as Indigenous and are struggling to connect to your Indigenous culture? Maybe you live away from your tribal nation or community. If this sounds like you, or if you're feeling at all disconnected from your Indigenous heritage and want to know how you can connect or reconnect with your Indigenous self, then keep on watching. Hi there, I'm Mallory. Welcome back to the Tribal Trade channel, where we share new videos every single week about smudging, Indigenous culture, and Native teachings. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you never miss a video. Sometimes you can receive negative backlash from relatives or friends when you're physically removed or living away from your homelands. I experienced this personally when I moved away from my home First Nation to attend university. There are a variety of reasons why Indigenous people live away from their tribal nation or community. In fact, 60% of Indigenous people live in urban areas, not in the rural areas that most Native territories reside in. So you might find yourself in one of two scenarios. Either one, you've always lived off Native land and you're trying to connect with your Indigenous self, or number two, you've moved away from your home community or First Nation and you've lost touch, or maybe you want to reconnect with your cultural heritage. In this video, I'm going to cover 5 ways that you can stay connected or gain connection to your Indigenous roots while living off of your reserve lands or tribal territory. Now, before we get into this, I want you to feel okay about where you're at right now and understand that it's okay to want to stay connected. And even by identifying that you're feeling something lacking and wanting more, that shows strength and courage. So pat on the back for you, my friend. So let's say you find yourself in scenario 1 and you've never lived on your homelands, native lands, First Nation, Indigenous territorial grounds, as they're referred to post-colonization. You are not alone. In fact, you are in the majority of Indigenous people in today's day and age who are currently residing on tribal communities. And this video is 100% made for you to help you out with either starting to or maintaining connection to your Indigenous roots, even if you've never lived on the First Nation Reserve. Now, scenario number 2. If you grew up on the res and moved away, don't feel shamed or bad about being off territory. You aren't any less Indigenous for living off or away from your tribal people. Despite our best intentions, moving away is often perceived by Indigenous relatives as a negative choice. This judgment or criticism can make people feel even more isolated than they already do, just from leaving home. When deciding to move away from your reserve, it's important to remember your why. Whatever reason you chose to leave is valid. Don't let others' criticism get to you. Please keep in mind that moving away from your First Nation reserve does not make you any less Indigenous. One of the best ways to overcome feelings of loneliness, isolation, or disconnect from your Indigenous roots is to try to become or stay connected as much as possible. Now, how do you actually do that? Well, we've put together 5 ways that you can stay connected or gain connection to your Indigenous roots while living off your Indigenous or tribal territory. Now, let's get into these 5 ways to get connected to your Indigenous culture, even if you're away from your Indigenous territory. The first way you can stay connected to your Indigenous culture is to practice smudging from home. Smudging is not only an important Indigenous practice that can make you feel more connected to Indigenous teachings, but it's also a great way to keep yourself grounded and calm. Smudging is one of the best ways to focus, relieve anxiety, and attract positive energy. Whatever journey that you're on, it's the right one for you, and smudging can help you feel reaffirmed in your decision to move away if that's what you choose. Also, by smudging, you will be participating in something that has been practiced by Indigenous people for generations. So what better way to stay connected to your roots? If you've never smudged before, watch this video right here on smudging for beginners. The second way you can stay connected is continue to support Indigenous businesses from your home territory. If you're feeling disconnected from your First Nation reserve, don't forget that you can continue to engage with your community wherever you are. Just because you're living apart doesn't mean that your relationship with people still living there has to end. You can continue to support your Indigenous community by purchasing as much as you can from local businesses. art, smudging materials, pottery, and anything else that you might need. Even if you can't physically visit to shop, so many people have online businesses now that you should easily be able to find your favorite artists and entrepreneurs online so that you can continue to give them your business. This can help you stay connected to your community and help support the community. The third way you can stay connected to your Indigenous roots, even if you're living far away, is to find an urban Indigenous support center. In some places, there are centers that offer emotional support, financial support, smudging materials, and more to help Indigenous people off reserve feel like they're a part of a community and have access to the resources they need. You can often find these kinds of support centers and resources on college and university campuses. There's no shame in asking for help. Seeking resources in your community can help you to fight isolation and stay connected to your roots by engaging with other community members just like you. If you're an Indigenous person living off First Nation territory, how do you stay connected to your roots? If you feel comfortable, we would love for you to share what works for you in the comments below. There are 2 more ways to stay connected to your Indigenous roots when you're living off First Nation territory or far from your home community. Now, the 4th way to stay connected to your Indigenous roots while living off reserve is to attend ceremonies and events. If you're able to visit your reserve from time to time, you might consider attending ceremonies and events such as powwows and smudging ceremonies. These can help ground you and rejuvenate you so that you feel more prepared to spend time away. Some events like these are also offered virtually, so you can even engage from afar. See what events are offered by your community virtually so that you can stay connected from wherever you are. It might not be the same as attending in person. Attending events virtually can keep the line of communication and connection open between you and your community, which can go a long way toward making you feel better and more connected. The 5th way you can stay connected is to take Indigenous culture courses. The final way that you might try staying connected to your Indigenous roots from afar is to take Indigenous culture courses, either in person or online. If you take an in-person course, it might connect you with people in your nearby community who share the same values and beliefs as you and struggle with the same things that you do. The same is true of an online course. You can forge connections with people all over the world. Not only will you be meeting new, like-minded people, but you'll also be able to engage with familiar and new topics centered around Indigenous teachings and beliefs, which can help you feel more connected. If you're not sure where to get started, check out one of the many programs that we offer right here at Tribal Trade Co. For example, our Smudge Circle course offers a comprehensive guide to Indigenous teachings and belief systems that will help you establish habits in your daily routine and guide you on your own personal journey. Incorporating Indigenous teachings into your daily routine is one of the best ways to stay connected. We are what we practice. So the more you mix Indigenous teachings into your daily life, the more secure you will feel in your Indigenous identity. If you're curious about Smudge Circle or other workshops we offer, we've put the links in the comments below for you to check out. We would love to have you join us and be part of helping you feel more connected to your Indigenous roots. Always remember that where you live doesn't make you Indigenous. You are Indigenous no matter what. How you choose to engage with and stay connected to your Indigenous culture is up to you, but no one can tell you that you aren't Native enough. If you're an Indigenous person wanting to get in touch with a local friendship center or a local Indigenous support services center, then click on the link in the description where you can find your closest center that can support you with their services for Indigenous people living in your local area. If you're watching this video from an Indigenous support center or friendship center, please contact us at the link in the description below so that you can get listed on our website and Indigenous people in your local community can find you and contact you and get in touch with your services and programs. I hope that these few simple tricks will help you feel a bit more connected and help guide you on your journey wherever you are. If you'd like to be part of a virtual, welcoming community centered around Indigenous teachings, topics, and events, come join us on Facebook for more tips and discussion and fun with other people just like you. After watching this video, what tip are you most excited to try? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.